Welcome everyone to Monday Morning Morons for January 20th, 2020. Now, I've missed a couple of weeks here, and my apologies. Things just weren't falling in my favor. So to kick off the new year, I want to focus in on a single biggest problem to ever plague human existence. Because I don't really think enough people are taking it seriously. But first, a little identity politics conundrum. Oregon woman accused of telling Mexican food cart operator, go back to Mexico. Now, I know you're tempted to jump on the bandwagon right away here and just say that woman is racist, right? Well, I must admit, when I first read that headline, that's exactly what I thought too. In fact, I'm pretty sure that's the point of the headline in the first place. But hold on to your knickers, because there's a curveball coming. Here's a hint. Something's missing from that headline. An Oregon woman was arrested Sunday and charged with using racist language after harassing a Mexican food truck operator and telling her to go back to Mexico, according to the district attorney's office. McDonald, 30, was indicted by a grand jury on December 17th with several charges, including bias crime, harassment, and the unlawful use of a weapon, Fox 12 reported. Court documents cited by the station say McDonald twice visited a food cart in southeast Portland. On her first visit on September 21st, McDonald allegedly told the operator to go back to Mexico before opening a can of soda and pouring it over some chicken and the victim's head, the whatever county district attorney's office said. Now, depending on the flavor the soda was, that could have been pretty good. I've marinated chicken breast in Sprite before. Came out pretty decent, actually. Oh, right. And the victim's head, so yeah, that's assault. Now, if it'd been a milkshake and she called her a fascist first, then apparently it's not a crime, it's a protest. The victim reportedly called police, who then tried to contact McDonald, but she hung up on them, according to the district attorney. Court documents say McDonald returned the next day Wait a second. That was it? The police called her, she hung up on them, and they just said, well, fuck it, we tried, next case. Great work there, Oregon. Very persistent. Court documents say McDonald returned the next day and again used racial hate speech. No such thing. Toward the operator and another employee. She allegedly grabbed a wooden stake and made stabbing motions toward the employee, according to court documents. McDonald then allegedly spit in the direction of chicken being prepared, forcing the operator to throw the whole batch away because of health concerns. The value of the chicken lost was reportedly around $300. Bullshit. $300? That is a lot of chicken. After spitting on the chicken, McDonald allegedly waved the pointed end of a wooden stake toward the same food truck employee, according to court documents. I guess that was the weapon mentioned earlier, a pointy stick. Nice job burying that detail halfway down the story where you know most people aren't going to see it. McDonald, who is black, told officers she thought the food cart operators were racist because they served white people faster than they served her, per court documents. And there it is, folks. The twist I've been covering up. McDonald is black. She can't be racist. So this can't be a bias crime or a hate crime. She's immune from these allegations because she shares a skin color with historically oppressed people. So we've got a Hispanic claiming this black woman is racist, and this black woman claiming the Hispanic is racist. But we know from the numerous lectures we get from so-called scholars that only white people can be racist. There's no white person involved here to pin this shit on. So now what? Which one is the white supremacist? Okay, so when I was going through all the stories Bob saved to cover, I was struck by the idea that maybe we should start the year by being serious for just once. A whole episode of serious examples of the most serious problem ever to face the world. So aside from that first story, which I really just couldn't resist, let's spend the rest of our time this week talking about toxic masculinity. Because I really don't think you appreciate just how dangerous men, and only men, of course, really are. Kentucky woman who operated BDSM business gets 15 years for sex trafficking. A Kentucky woman who operated a BDSM business was sentenced Thursday to 15 years in prison plus 20 years of supervised release for sex trafficking 2 female victims, according to the Department of Justice. I know. At this point, you're tempted to blame this woman for committing a heinous crime against 2 other women. But, hold on. Don't go rushing to judgment or anything just yet. Claretta Allen, 41, had operated a BDSM business dubbed the Playhouse of Domination from an apartment she rented in Louisville, the DOJ said in a press release. The business provided non-sexual services to adult clients. Sure it did. Allen expanded her business in 2017 to include illegal prostitution after 2 of her employees quit and revenues declined. She used violence and intimidation to force 2 young women to provide commercial sex acts for clients in the Louisville area, the DOJ said. Allen posted commercial sex advertisements on the internet and, on one occasion, drove the women to Georgia to provide services. On at least one occasion, her violent conduct against one of the women was so severe that it required medical attention. See, I told you not to rush to judgment before you had all the facts. As you can clearly see now, this is all men's fault. If men didn't want sex, then there'd be no clients for this woman to illegally traffic her victims to, would there? She'd be rolling around in the millions she made from her flower business by now, and of course, her victims would never have been victimized at all. The whole world would just be chock full of peace, love, and harmony if it weren't for those damn men and their sex drive. The clear solution to this problem is, of course, castrate all men. It's the only way. What else have we got here? Israeli national, 26, arrested after trying to cash $1 million check from her husband, 77, of just 4 months. Don't. Wait for all the facts first, you damn misogynists. A 26-year-old Israeli national was arrested for fraud last week, accused of trying to cash a $1 million check in the name of her husband, a 77-year-old Florida businessman whom she had married 4 months earlier. Lynn Helena Hafron was arrested at Tampa International Airport on December 16th for allegedly stealing $666,666 from her husband Richard Rappaport. A Tampa bank had refused to cash a $1 million cashier's check a month earlier, the Tampa Times reported, citing court records. Hafron walked into a Tampa Amscot branch with the check November 7th, telling employees that she intended to use the money to buy a yacht in Miami. But because Rappaport's name was also on the check, the bank refused, court records show. Well, that's just typical. Husband and wife, yet when the wife tries to cash a check, everyone at the bank goes all patriarchy on her poor innocent ass and won't let her touch his money. A short time later, Hafron reappeared with the same request, only this time she had 3 separate checks, each for $333,333. Amscot employees refused, but made copies of her Israeli passport, her U.S. visa, and the questionable checks. They contacted law enforcement immediately. You see the problem here? They immediately treated her like a criminal. Why? She's his wife, right? She's cashing a check from him, right? Why did you automatically assume she was stealing something and call the police? I mean, if your misogynist asses don't trust her, why didn't you just call her husband, huh? Isn't that the patriarchal thing to do? According to the Times, when authorities contacted Rappaport about the incident, he said he wanted to give his wife the benefit of the doubt to avoid having her deported. Aww. See, there are still some good men out there after all. But weeks later, investigators learned that Hafron eventually had 2 of the checks cashed more than 1,000 miles away by an Orlando business. On December 10th, Rappaport told authorities he did feel that he was now the victim of fraud. Or not. That benefit of the doubt didn't last very long. Fucking misogynist. Rappaport and Halfon applied for a marriage license on June 24th, listing the date and location of the marriage as August 21st in Sarasota, according to the Times. His daughter, Dana Titus, told investigators that she believed that Hafron was conning Rappaport due to his age, the New York Post reported, citing a police affidavit. No. Really? What was your first clue? Halfin has since been charged with money laundering, organized fraud, and exploitation of an elderly person. Her bail has been set at $1 million. At this point, I just have to say that this is entirely unfair. She's totally entitled to all that money. Reparations for centuries of historic oppression. Really, though, they both knew the damn score when they got married. Do you really think he went into this thinking, oh yeah, she's totally in love with me? Come on, man. Yet, she's getting carted off to jail just because she's trying to collect her side of the bargain? I mean, this is just more proof of the patriarchal system still present in America today. All right, Bob, give us the one Gophers World sent. I know he sent one because I know everything, Bob. Arizona woman tries to set boyfriend on fire for not celebrating new subway job, according to the police. Well, that seems like a perfectly reasonable reaction. A woman in Arizona is facing serious charges after she allegedly tried to set her boyfriend on fire because he wouldn't celebrate her new job at a Subway restaurant, according to a report. Kathy Jones, 46, was arrested on one count each of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon and criminal damage for the December 11th incident, KHOU reported. The man, who is also her roommate, told investigators she sprayed him with lighter fluid and then threw lit matches at him. Jones told police that although she had no memory of committing the allegations, she did recall being angry that the victim wasn't interested in commending her for her new job. Jones had imbibed 2 Smirnoff Ice vodka drinks and 2 drinks with rum, according to charging documents. She is being held on $15,000 bond. I don't get it. Why in the world did you lock her up? Did they not hear what she said? That man did not commend her for her amazing accomplishment. The hard work, the long hours, the sacrifices she's made to get to this point in her career, and he dismisses it all like it's nothing. Do you have any idea how damn difficult it is to design and build subways?
Not that kind of subway.
Huh?
The restaurant.
The sandwich place?
Yep.
Oh. Well, I mean, that's still an accomplishment, right? And it's huge, too. Absolutely worth a somber ceremony, a certificate of achievement, and an open bar reception event. How dare this toxic bastard not set aside a few days of his time to celebrate her major life event and validate her monumental achievements? That is the real crime. Okay, now, with all the toxic masculinity around here this week, I didn't want to send you all off for the week ahead with no hope. So, let's wrap it up with a story that shows humanity isn't quite dead yet. Zeus, dog stolen from Montana and found in West Virginia, journeys 2,000 miles home with help of volunteers. A Montana dog who was stolen from his owner in October was recently found more than 2,000 miles away in West Virginia and, with the help of a group of volunteers, was reunited with his family. Zeus, a 9-year-old pit bull from Butte, was taken from his home after his owner, Cassandra Rasmussen, allowed a family friend to stay with them and came home to a house without Zeus. It seems Cassandra, who is a single mom in Butte, Montana, allowed a family friend to come stay with her for a bit. Chelsea Staley, with the Kanawha Charleston Humane Association, told WOWK-TV. The friend basically robbed her blind, stole her wallet, a number of things while she was at work, including her dog Zeus. Losing the dog took a huge toll on Rasmussen and her 2 daughters, and the mother said all they wanted for Christmas was to have Zeus back in their arms. Months later, the person who took the pooch was arrested in Nitro, West Virginia, and had Zeus with him. He was brought to the Kanawha, however you fucking pronounce that, Charleston Humane Association, where they discovered Zeus was microchipped and registered to Rasmussen. The shelter planned to send Zeus home to Montana, but thought he was too big to fly commercially at 73 pounds. So the animal rescuers contacted Many Paws Volunteer Transport to try to get Zeus home. Ultimately, more than a dozen volunteers helped drive thousands of miles from eastern to northwest America to get Zeus home. The local Humane Association wrote on Facebook, They took the trip in turns over the course of 4 days and made it home December 16th. It's wonderful. This is a great experience, a great opportunity to show the people and communities across the United States offering to help, jumping on this to help reunite this dog with his family. Jen Robles, a volunteer with the Animal Transport Group, told news outlet. Robles added to KTMF, it took 15 volunteers, 3 slumber potties, puns, 9 states and 2,000 miles to get Zeus home with his family just a week before Christmas. Now, isn't that nice? I mean, yes, there was an asshole in this story who stole a dog, but there were 15 total strangers willing to Pony Express this dog back home. That shows us there's still many, many more good people in this world than there are bad ones, and that's encouraging. That's it for this week. Remember the social justice mantra: women are victims, men are oppressors, and feminism is just about equality. I'll see you all next week.